What's going on, everyone? I got some great articles lined up for you today. So let's start with Pickle Robot. Pickle Robot gets orders for over 30 unloading systems plus 50 million in funding. Robotic truck unloading fits the classic definition of dull, dirty, or dangerous jobs worth automating. Pickle Robot Co. yesterday announced that it has raised $50 million in Series B funding and that 6 customers placed orders during the third quarter for more than 30 robots to deploy in the first half of 2025. The new orders include pilot conversions, existing customer expansions, and new customer adoption. Pickle Robot says its robots are designed to autonomously unload trucks, trailers, and import containers at human scale or better performance. The Cambridge, Mass-based company's goal is to relieve scarce workers and improve productivity and safety at distribution centers around the world. The Pickle Unload systems have been collaborating with staffers and production operations at distribution centers since the summer of 2023. To date, they have unloaded more than 10 million pounds of merchandise from import containers and domestic floor load trailers. The company says its customers include distributors of footwear, apparel, power tools, toys, kitchenware, packaging materials, small appliances, and other general merchandise. Its product roadmap is expanding to service parcel type freight. The company said it plans to use its latest funding to accelerate the development of new feature sets. It also plans to build out its commercial teams to unlock new markets and geographies worldwide. It added that it is on a mission to automate inbound and outbound processes at 1 million warehouse doors over the next 10 years. So with this news, you can definitely kind of see the playbook when it comes to distribution centers. There's going to be a lot more automation, and it's not just going to be Amazon. There are going to be multiple companies across the US and across the globe doing the same thing by implementing robots that are going to be able to work 24/7 and not take breaks. So this is just something to be on the lookout for if you are working in distribution centers. If you can find a way to learn about these robots and be the person that's overseeing them, that would be a great opportunity to put yourself in a position where you can not only learn about these robotic systems, but also find yourself in a higher position with that company that you're working for. Also, this is a reminder that robotics is continuing to expand in different industries. So it's going to continue to be this way as we move into this technological future. So always stay mindful of that, so that way you're not caught off guard about any type of robotics coming into your industry and disrupting what you do on a day-to-day basis. Let's move on to the next article. More flying taxis. Flying taxis planned for South Carolina. Japanese eVTOL vehicle maker SkyDrive, SafeFlight, and Greenville Downtown Airport have agreed to advance air cargo, air taxi, and emergency service use cases for flying vehicles in South Carolina. SafeFlight is a large private jet charter company in South Carolina, and Greenville Downtown Airport is the state's busiest general aviation hub. The three companies plan to develop use cases for the eVTOL originating from Greenville Downtown Airport with support from Greenville City Economic Development and the Greenville Area Development Corporations. One of the tasks would be to design practical routes such as to the city center and the Greenville Spartanburg International Airport to enhance travel options. SkyDrive also recently signed a strategic alliance with F&E Aircraft Maintenance, FEAM Aerial, for the maintenance, support, and scalability of its eVTOLs nationally. SkyDrive last year set up a local subsidiary in the US, and the deal with FEAM Aerial in Miami is likely to help grow that operation. FEAM Aerial supports more than 130,000 flights annually, servicing major airlines, cargo carriers, regional airlines, and private operators. SkyDrive's stated vision is to create a future where everyone has access to eVTOLs as their daily transportation in Japan and across the world. SkyDrive has a deal to sell up to 50 EAVs to Salu in Korea, which is in the business of aircraft leasing and financing, and aims to use EAVs to aid the severe traffic congestion there. So I've definitely been talking about air taxis for a little while now over the past month, and you can definitely see it here in these videos. Now, with these air taxis, they talked about earlier how they're going to start to implement different use cases for cargo, for emergency flights. So this is something that's definitely going to pick up even more in 2025 as more of these companies continue to expand their fleet of air taxis that they've been making, and also access to it, testing them out, making sure they are safe for the people. You can one day find yourself riding riding on an air taxi going from one place to the next inside your city. Also, if you are someone who has some flight experience or you are getting some flight experience, this is a great time for you to learn about air taxis. You can find yourself being a part of this innovation that's happening for air transportation. Let's move on to the next article. Microsoft is launching automatic Quest 3 pairing on Windows 11 PCs in December. Meta announced at Connect in September it was working with Microsoft to bring Windows 11 PCs the ability to automatically pair with Quest wirelessly. Now, the company say we can expect preview access in December. The feature will allow Quest 3 and Quest 3S to connect to Windows 11 PCs for multi-monitor work environment. Pretty familiar territory to anyone who owns a Vision Pro and some flavor of Mac, as Apple's XR headset has been able to similarly connect via Mac Virtual Display since launch in February 2024. Microsoft says it's launching the feature in public preview at some point in December, which they hope will appeal to users looking to increase productivity. At the feature's unveiling at Connect in September, Meta teased the ability to seamlessly connect to the PC by simply looking at the keyboard, allowing you to instantly access the computer and drag windows across the multiple virtual monitors, a notable departure from the remote desktop experience available when using Meta's own Air Link. This is the path to building a general computing platform, Zuckerberg said. It's not just games, although Quest is really good at that. You're also going to be able to use it for apps, watching videos, and all the different things you would do with a general purpose computer. Quest is the full package. Alright, so in this previous video right here, I did talk about how Meta slashed the funding for VR games and wanted to focus more on lifestyle content. In addition to that, I think it's going to focus even more on productivity as well as we move into the future. They definitely want these headsets to be an all-around device that you can utilize not just for gaming, but for where you can do some work and where you can also enjoy some leisure content and watch sports and all these different things. So I think that is a smart play by Meta, what they're doing, and being able to expand this to where you'll be able to look at different screens inside this headset. Also, I do believe that these Meta Quest headsets and the Apple Vision Pro will allow people to be even more productive due to the ability to see different screens instead of having your laptop and having to hook it up to another dual screen or another laptop or even your TV like I do sometimes. You can look inside this Quest headset and have 3 or 4 different screens up, giving you the optimal experience to get work done and slash your time on focusing on a task. Also, I think this is going to expand even more to multiple people as it gets to a price point where lots of people can get it, to the point where it's as familiar to us as it is for our iPhones and our Android devices. Let's move on to the next article. NYU Langone uses Da Vinci Z robotic system to perform double lung transplant. A surgical team at NYU Langone Health has performed a fully robotic double lung transplant using a Da Vinci Z robot from Intuitive Surgical. The organization said the procedure marks a breakthrough in the potential of robotic surgery and minimally invasive patient care. Stephanie H. Chang, MD, led the minimal invasive procedure. Her team transplanted both lungs into a 57-year-old woman with chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, COPD, using the Da Vinci G robotic system at each stage. The transplant was performed on October 22nd. This was just 4 days after patient Cheryl McCarr was added to the lung transplant list following several months of evaluation by Jake G. Natalini, MD Assistant Professor in the NYU Department of Medicine's Division of Pulmonary Critical Care and Sleep Medicine, and Luis F. Angel, MD, Medical Director of Lung Transplantation for the NYU Langone Transplant Institute. The team started the procedure by making small incisions between the ribs. They then used Intuitive Surgical's robotic system to remove the lung, prepare the surgical site for implantation, and implant the new lung. Both lungs were transplanted using these robotic techniques. The institute said its surgeons perform more than 2,000 robot-assisted surgeries each year. It trains surgeons from hospitals from around the world to perform the latest robot-assisted procedures. So in this video right here, I talked about how this specific device was used at a different hospital for a different type of surgery. So we're definitely starting to see how these robotic devices are being utilized in the healthcare space. Also, as I bring all of you more and more of these stories, my prediction of a robotic hospital where you're going to have all these devices doing different surgeries is starting to seem like it's going to play out even more in the future. So we shall see what happens next. If you were to have surgery, would you want the doctors using this type of robotic system on you to perform the surgery? Or would you rather have the traditional system that has happened for the past decades? Comment down below and let me know your thoughts. Let's move on to the next article. Future Google supplier Kairos gets approval to build 2 small nuclear reactors. Nuclear startup Kairos Power received approval from the U.S. Nuclear Regulatory Commission to start construction on 2 test reactors in Oak Ridge, Tennessee. The permit marks a significant milestone for Kairos, which in October inked a deal with Google to provide 500 megawatts of electricity for its data centers. The fluoride salt-cooled, high-temperature reactors are scaled-down versions of what Kairos hopes to ultimately build to supply Google with electricity starting in 2030. And while the new reactors are technically test beds, Kairos intends to connect the power plant to the grid, spokesperson Ashley Lewis told TechCrunch. The small modular reactor startup, which has received a $303 million award from the U.S. Department of Energy, has been working for years to refine its molten salt cooling system. Fluoride salt's extremely high boiling points allow the coolant to flow under low pressure. That means, in the case of an accident, there won't be any high pressure, radioactive material waiting to burst forth should pumping systems fail. So that's just some of the latest news when it comes to the nuclear energy space. And although regulators have been pushing on trying to stop Amazon and Microsoft from having these connections with these companies building these small modular reactors, it looks like things are going to be moving along due to their connection with the U.S. Department of Energy. Also, with the new administration coming in, I'm sure there's going to be some type of talk about how this energy could power these data centers that are going to be pushing all of this data when it comes to artificial intelligence. If any other news arises, I'll make sure to keep you updated. Let's move on to the next article. Tesla and Rivian have reached a conditional settlement in lawsuit over trade secrets. 4 years after Tesla filed a lawsuit against Rivian alleging that the company poached its employees with the goal of obtaining trade secrets, the two appear to be nearing a resolution. According to Bloomberg, Tesla says it's reached a conditional settlement with Rivian and expects to seek the case's dismissal by December 24th. In the lawsuit filed in 2020, Tesla claimed Rivian encouraged exiting Tesla employees to steal information and that it caught 3 employees taking highly valuable confidential information as they left for Rivian. Rivian has denied the allegations from the start, calling them baseless. So that's just some of the latest news when it comes to Tesla and their quarrel with Rivian. Let's move on to the next article. Hyundai recalls more than 145,000 Ioniq and Genesis EVs that can lose power while driving. Hyundai is recalling over 145,000 Ioniq and Genesis vehicles due to a 12-volt battery charging issue that could cause the EVs to lose drive power and increase the risk of a crash. NHTSA says the cause is the vehicle's Integrated Charging Control Unit, ICCU, which is likely to get damaged due to an internal electrical fault. Upon failure of the ICCU, a series of driver warnings appear, and the vehicle activates a fail-safe driving mode that slowly reduces drive power over the course of 20 to 40 minutes. With these affected models, Hyundai will notify owners of affected vehicles via mail starting in January and will provide reimbursements for out-of-pocket expenses related to this recall. So with this, I'm not sure why Hyundai is notifying people out in January instead of right now, because this seems like a very urgent matter. So hopefully those people who have those affected models will not be in any danger until then. But as always, I like to bring these type of stories as well as I talk about the world of technology, because even though there's a lot of exciting and interesting things happening, you also have these things happening as well with these recalls in these vehicles that could put people in danger. So it's always important to stay up to date on this, especially if you are an electric vehicle owner. So that way you don't have any type of accident as you're driving your electric vehicle every single day. Let's move on to the next article. Apple pledges $100 million Indonesia investment to lift iPhone 16 ban. Apple has offered $100 million to Indonesia as part of an effort to lift a recent ban of the iPhone 16 in the country, as reported by the Wall Street Journal. The company has presented an investment plan that will use that $100 million to set up a manufacturing plant in the nation. Earlier this month, Apple offered the country $10 million to reverse the ban. Now, this all started because Apple missed a local investment threshold by around 15 million. Indonesia mandates that certain devices sold in the country must have at least 40% domestic content. This percentage can be met by using domestically sourced materials, building manufacturing manufacturing plants or by employing local workers. So with this $100 million investment, this is Apple definitely putting their best foot forward to make sure that they're able to get into Indonesia. They started off bad by only offering 10 million when there was a $15 million threshold. So now the second time around, they're having a boost in their investment, which is great because they're showing that they definitely want to be invested in Indonesia. So if you are in Indonesia, that iPhone 16 ban could be lifted and it could be coming to a hand near you. So that's just some of the latest news when it comes to the world of technology. I hope you enjoy these articles and I want to make sure that you continue to stay informed. So in order to do that, like the video, subscribe, and then tell a friend to subscribe, and then check out these two videos right here where I give you more insight about the things happening in the world of technology.